We are live. All right. If you can hear my voice clearly, can you type V in the chat? V stands for voice. All right. I know that there's going to be 10 seconds delay. Let me also blast it to my Telegram. All right. As well as everybody so that you guys can get notified. Starts now. Okay. So I'm just going to make sure everybody is aware that we are starting now, because tonight we are inviting a very special guest that who accelerated his portfolio growth from 200K to more than $1 million in a short 7 months time. So there's a lot of wisdom that this brilliant investor is going to share with you. So make sure, all right, stay tuned right now. I'm just going to invite him to come up right now. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to blast it to everybody so that you guys can get started right now. Okay, so let me know if you can hear my voice. If you can, yes, can. Victory. Hi Raj. Hello Cal. All right, fantastic. Now let's get started. Hi Calvin, good to see every single one of you. If you enable StreamYard, yes, then we can be able to see your name as well. So without further ado, I believe everybody can hear my voice already, and I think you guys are also excited to learn from this amazing investor. And if you're excited to learn, can you type Hadi in the chat? All right, because tonight we are inviting Hadi to come out. If you're excited, please type Hadi and let's welcome Hadi. All right.
Hey,
Good to
hello,
see you.
everybody.
I
Good
think
to
people are
see
also very
you.
excited. So many of you are typing, like the same investor typing, hello, Hadi. Okay, Kevin say hi,
Hello,
Hadi.
everybody.
All right. In fact, Hadi is a very good friend of Sean, right? Like you guys knew each other since when? Like secondary school or what?
We were actually university mates. Actually, we're course mates. Lah.
I see.
We actually
Okay.
have the same. I remember we have the same. We were the same project group, and we had this competition, and we won. So that was my
What
only
competition?
like. I think we majored in economics, but economics
Yeah.
is not really something that I would advise everybody to major in. But having said that, it was a I can't remember which module. I know we were in charge of a company and we were trying to whoever sold the most would probably win the project. And I remember we won. That was my only project with him, so we had good memories lah.
And I really feel I think like when I know personally Sean and Hadi, I think both of them are very successful in their own way as well, be it investors or be it in their entrepreneurship business owner. And I realize both of them have common attributes, characteristics like always testing and learning, very open-minded, very humble and eager to learn. And that's why tonight, all right, Hadi is going to share with us a lot of his own lessons, all right, his own experience. And if you guys are excited to learn, can you type learn in the chat? All right, I can see so many people are saying, Venus is saying, hi, Chloe, hi, Hadi. Good to see every single one of you. All right, so without further ado, okay, maybe I can get Hadi to start to share a little bit more about his investing journey first, because I know Hadi, like in the past, you didn't start investing only until the recent few years, right? When did you get started, and what actually inspired you to get started in this journey?
So anyway, thanks for the very nice introduction. I don't know if it's successful, but I think we're on the way lah. I've been still curious about this whole investing game, and I'm still on the way there. So just if you ask me for a quick summary, how did I get started into investing, right? I've got to admit, I was actually forced into investing. Okay, all along I've
Four.
always felt that yes, I've always felt that to be financially free, you always have to own a business, right? You have to like if you open Forbes, right? The top 10 or top 50 or top 100, they are most probably business owners. Except you're probably gonna see Warren Buffett there. So I got started investing in May 2020, and I cannot forget the date because my wife actually bought the investing course as a birthday present for me.
Uh-huh.
And for all the gentlemen out there, when your partner or your missus buys for you a birthday present, you have no choice but to use it, right? So I guess my inspiration was I want to continue sleeping on my bed. I don't want to sleep outside. I had no choice but to, take the course, apply whatever I learned, and hopefully became better lah. And yeah, I enjoyed, and it's been a period of uh, constant learning, and I really enjoyed the whole process. Like, I didn't know I could enjoy it so much, and I would say I'm a little bit obsessed right now.
but what have you actually, after this, like after your wife bought you the birthday present, did you actually ask her what made you actually want to buy me this present for my birthday?
I think she wanted a bigger present.
Okay.
I think she
But
bought
from
this
you,
present for me to get a bigger present for her.
because from your investing income, like she knows that you are going to get her a bigger present. Is that it?
I don't know. I think so. But having said that, I will, like, this is probably like the best present I've received. Like, I should have received it earlier, but never too late. Yeah, and
Raj
that's
said,
really how I got into investing, man. Like, yeah.
Raj said so that you can make more money for her. So, like when you first got that present from your wife, right? Like, were you skeptical about investing actually before you started your journey in like 2 years ago? Were you skeptical about it?
Yeah. Actually, all along I'm very skeptical about investing. In fact, right? Um, I was the one who asked her. She asked me to go investing. I said I don't want. Why don't I buy for you? So the joke is I pushed her to attend Sean's classes in last time, but
Oh,
I realized that she's been trying to push for me, and yeah, I still remember when she bought me the game. I said, "What? What did you just do?" But yeah, it was the first of 2 years of investing, and it's been a really really good journey.
wow. Okay, maybe we can share a little bit more about your journey then, right? Like since the past 2 years, how has the journey been like for you?
Uh, I would say mostly up, sometimes down. Probably has been down. Like there's no smooth path to success.
Mhm.
It's been up and down, but overall it's up. And it's just a start. It's just a start. Like I could envision like how much more capital I could grow, how interesting this game is, and it's only 2 years. Like, I hope it's
Mm.
gonna be a very very long one.
Yeah, I mean, like actually you have been sharing with us, right, to the community as well. Like investing is like a life skill, it's a lifelong journey as well, right? So for the past 2 years, like when you first get started investing, right, what was the experience like? Because your portfolio really accelerated a lot, right? Especially during the COVID V-shaped recovery. What did you do back then that helped you to achieve the kind of return that you get?
I remember, I still remember my first trade feeling. Yeah, it was a feeling of exhilaration because it's your own money. Like you put your own money there, and it wasn't really the first time. Along the way, like I was investing here and there, but whether it's following people, or if you're buying a stock at $1, I thought it was very cheap, but on hindsight I realized it was just pure gambling, overpaying the odds. um May 2020, and specifically it was 22nd May 2020. I cannot forget the date.
Mhm.
I was very lucky because my first trade was during the course, the OMI course, and
Mm.
I had a pair of steady hands. The mentors is the one who guided me. Butterflies in the stomach. If you go into the brokerage, there was so many buttons, you don't even know where to start. Uh, you know, yeah, I was quite thankful I had people to guide me, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, my first two trades was actually bad, but it's been more good than bad lah thereafter.
I
So yeah,
see. Okay. So the first time that you initiated your trade was actually together with OMI, is it during a live trade or what?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, it was after that.
It was during OMI, and then after that, I tried to be a little bit too smart and then into my own trade.
Okay.
Like all retail new investors, I'm sure everybody went through that stage. Yeah,
Uh-huh. I
yeah.
see, I see. So like the journey of like using options, right? Like that help you to accelerate your journey. But like, what was the difficulties? Because I believe everybody also understand that behind success there must be some mistakes or some difficulties that you face, right? So what was some of the difficulties that you faced during your investment journey?
Uh, it took me about 3 to 4 months before I kind of realized what this
Mm,
whole game is about, whether it's stocks, whether it's options, and especially if we're going to options, right, which is a leverage derivatives, right, in essence.
mm,
There was a lot of things to take note, like from
mm,
percentile at the money, in the money, out of money, what would give a good trade, um, days required. So there was a lot of things. And I was glad I learned at OMI, and I continued to invest further to be part of the program. And I learned even more. There was
mm,
a lot. I mean, there was definitely a lot of difficulties, but it was this constant learning, constant curiosity. Like I overcame, each difficulties one by one, and along the way, I realized the kind of character that I am,
mm,
how I want to structure my portfolio, how I want to structure my portfolio allocation to how many percent option, how many percent stocks, and I refine, the execution along the way. Yeah,
mm.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
yeah, so it's
It
definitely
was
not something that you can it's not something that is like within 3 days that you can cultivate everything, right? It's definitely a journey that even till today you are still learning and improving, right?
of course, of course. I mean, you know, uh, at the end of the day, I would say that there's a lot of YouTube blogs there's so many people sharing out there, right? But at the end of the day, I've realized that Chloe, in school, right? If let's say you don't
Mm,
know a subject, would you copy the guy that has good grades, or would you copy the guy that that has no history of getting good grades?
mm.
You copy the guy like
Yeah,
yeah. So
have been there and done that, right? Yeah.
yeah. So I've realized that I was just trying to learn from the guys that was already there, who showcase a history of success, and just kind of follow. And when I have questions, I just ask, and yeah, along the way, uh, it's positive.
Yeah, and you kind of like really leverage on the wisdom of the giants or people who have track record, and that's how you like. I remember you said this before, like the best mistakes is you learn from other people's mistakes rather than you go and making the mistakes themselves. Ideally, right?
Yeah, Buffett says like I don't know whether it's a Buffett or Munger. I actually think it's Munger. Munger said that hang out with people better than you can't help but to be better. And you gotta understand the fact that they are good or they are there, they definitely made a lot of mistakes on the way there. So
Mm,
it's cheaper to learn from their mistakes rather than you making the mistakes yourself. And
mm,
as long as you don't lose money, as long as you don't make more mistakes, you will
mm.
inevitably rise up as well.
Exactly. And some people, some audience is also asking, right, Hadi, may I know how much did your initial capital begins with when you first started your options investing journey?
Oh, I was very thankful. I was very I won't say blessed lah. At that point, at May 2020, I was given some inheritance. I've got about 200,000. I actually didn't know where to put it. I learned this new skill. I figured that um putting your own money, having skin in the game, you probably would learn faster. And I didn't want
Mm,
to lose that money. At the end of the day, it's inheritance. So I just learn from the best. I did a risk on move, put my money in, and I put in 200,000. Along the way, as the capital increase, as my confidence, as my conviction, this as a strategy helps me to grow my retirement money. Whenever I have extra cash flow, I just put it in. Yeah, and
I
I've always been saying that even my daughter doesn't even have a bank account; she only have a brokerage account. Yeah, this is the
mm-hmm.
level of confidence that I have. in the market.
Yeah, like if talking about conviction, right? I think Cal also asked a very good questions, like what give you the conviction to, because you've been through the COVID, which is a very scary drop, and then followed by, of course, a very quick recovery as well. But then back then nobody would ever expect that the recovery can be so fast, right? But what gave you the conviction to invest or even hold on or even invest more when the odds are against you?
So this is something that I've learned along the way, and I reflected, and it's really what's being shared by Buffett in all his letters. He always says that you see we learn the most when we make our own mistakes because we've experienced it. You know what I'm saying? And my
Mm,
experience on my mistakes is that actually a lot of times, last time when I enter into a particular position, I don't have conviction. I only hear say, well, let's say somebody says something like that. Let's say it's Amazon. Let's say, okay, what did I go and buy? And I've made this mistake myself. I remember it was a stock that Pete recommended. It was Datadog. I remember it very clearly. I went in
mm,
100, fell to 80. I sold it. Then 80 became, I think it was 150 or 170 or something.
mm,
So I realized that a lot of people actually fire too easily. And then after that, when thing goes south, you get
mm,
really scared because you have no basis on. A lot of people just copy trades. There's no basis. I've
mm,
realized that ideally, right, you should do your research,
mm,
be so convicted before you go in. And actually,
mm,
when the thing goes down after, right, you should buy more. So
mm,
you be very convinced, convicted first, and
mm,
then because after that, if it goes down, right, you see, you should be confident of buying more. And that's really the essence on how I've realized the greatest investors, right, that's around us, they do that.
mm,
Unfortunately, I think the market is just easily fired. Then things go south. They think the whole company is going to be in trouble, and it's actually not like that. You see. So the
mm,
conviction is really the research, and I
mm,
tend to fire lesser right now. If I'm not
mm.
convicted, I rather not go in.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so it's really boils down to your own conviction by your own research, right? It's not hearsay, because a lot of times people can say something, but then you can never have their conviction. And that's why it's so important that we develop our own conviction by studying the company, really doing deep dive research. And if the market actually drops some more, nobody can predict it, right? Like if you buy and then the stock price drop further, it's actually very possible. But then you should ask yourself, right, hey, actually, isn't it an even better time right now if you're convicted about the company? And of course, you do proper position sizing, and that's how you even add even more trades, right, or more positions when the market give you the opportunities, right?
Yeah, yeah. People research, to buy a handphone or to buy a fridge or to buy a TV. You research so much, but on stocks, I don't know. Like you listen the bus drive. I don't know. Like, it's
That's
too
very
easy.
true, right? Yeah, to buy $1,000 handphone, you will compare this specs and that specs, compare different handphone. But when it comes to investing our own money, easily more than $1,000, sometimes people just don't do the necessary research. I think that's very important. You guys, if you understand the importance of doing your own homework, doing your own research, can everybody type research in the chat? All right. And in the meantime, all right, people are also asking, right, since you accelerated your portfolio so much, what strategies do you deploy the most?
Oh, I love long calls. Yeah, exactly. This backward. I because if you of course it's very situational dependent, but I'm heavier on options than stocks. But you've got to
Mm,
understand we are with that allocation, you got to brace yourself for volatility lah. So it's going to
mm,
move quite a lot. And options in a way requires less, especially buying long calls. It requires lesser capital, so it gives you a higher ROI. But if you think about ROI, it's basically returns over your invested amount. You're just basically using a lower invested amount to achieve the same kind of return.
yeah.
So that's why the percentage is always higher. And for me, I'm it varies, but it's I would say 30% stocks and 70% options. I'm heavy options.
So right
And
now it's still kind of approach, like 70% options, it's about 30% stocks. Is that right?
yes, but I also want to clarify, right? like to me, at the end of the day, right, you've got to figure out what's your goal. Okay, that
Yeah.
there's you can't see this as a strategy, but you got to see your goal. So my goal is I've hit 40s. Like my age now, I start with 4. Okay, and I've realized that the Asian male in Singapore, your lifespan, you probably die by the age of about 85. So I'm left with about 45 years, and I know I'm going to be hopefully productive for the next 30 years. I know I have excess cash flow, so I'm okay with volatility, because as long as I have time on my side, I have excess cash flow, highly likely I wouldn't go to zero. Highly likely.
Yeah. So like what Hadi said, you have to really understand yourself, right? What is your needs? What is your risk appetite? What's your portfolio objective? As well as your financial situation, so that you can really have a portfolio planning that is suitable for you. It's all about suitability. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, you've got to understand yourself. Like I could say I'm 30, 70. Some others is 70, 30. There's no right or wrong. At the end of the day, you've got to understand yourself. You've got to understand what you in it for. Well, what's this whole game about? Right? At the end of the day, this whole investing is a game.
Mm,
You only win the game if you understand yourself. I think at the end of the
mm.
day.
About self-awareness, and I think it's another very good question from the audience as well, right? Like for example, Mr. Wong want to ask, like what is the single huge loss in your investment journey since 2020? Or maybe you can talk about, maybe to you, what's the gravest mistake you made since you started your investment journey?
Okay. Just if specifically to answer this Mr. Wong here, right? Well, I've lost 70-80% on particular trades. Okay. But at the end of the day, you've got to understand investing, right? You see, when you put in, let's say, 10,000, okay, your maximum downside is 10,000, assuming you're not leveraged, lah. But your upside, it's can be 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. So you've got to understand the way investing works is the reward is asymmetric, assuming you don't use leverage. Okay,
Yep.
so even if you have a portfolio, right, and John Templeton says this, right, even if you only write 60% of the time, your returns is huge. Actually, if you see Buffett, right, if you put all his investments side by side, his winning rate is maybe 50-50, but the 50 that he wins, it goes to the moon. And the 50 that he lost, it goes to zero. He doesn't owe more than the amount that he puts in. So I've lost quite a fair bit here and there, but the ones that net me returns, it really gives me my huge returns. And just to answer like your question, Chloe, like I think I've made a lot of mistakes, whether it's ego, greed, FOMO, not open to ideas. I've made a lot of them. So I'm in the process of eliminating them one by one. And I think amongst all, I'd say the one that I succeeded the most is I've decided to really eliminate envy, because Manga said envy is really the stupidest of all the scenes, and it's not fun at all. And I've realized that investing is a game against yourself. It's like golf. So you want to hit your own goal, whatever you want to achieve, and if you hit the stage that, or the goal that you hit, then I think it's a game that you won.
Wow, guys, do you guys feel that there's so much wisdom behind what Hadi is sharing? If you feel that it's useful for you so far, can you type useful in the chat? Let us know, right? How's the sharing so far? And I think like what you say is totally true. Like investing is your own game, that you don't compete with other people. There's no point that you think that, wow, this person achieved a few 100% in his trade, a few 100% in his return on portfolio. That doesn't make you a bad investor, right? It's always about learning, improving every single day. Just like what Munger said, if every day we can compound and improve by 1%, 1 year down the road, like you are going to improve so much, right? As an investor. And as you can see, Hadi is a very humble person. Like he also have a lot of self-awareness. Like he understands that he made mistakes, what kind of downfall, or maybe like greed whatsoever that he has, and he admitted, and most importantly, he want to eliminate it and work on it, right? So if the share have been useful for you guys so far, please help to share out this as well, so that you never know, you can just inspire another person to really have cultivate the right mindset towards investing and really on the right track. So help us to share out this as well. Thank you. All right, my next question to you is then, is like because you have really pivoted a lot, right, as an investor, your mindset and everything. What caused that shift? Like, because investing, cultivating that mindset, the stability, is not something that do it instantly, right? What caused that shift gradually over time? Was there any single turning point, or any event?
I would say, my greatest thanks is, first, I got started. My wife pushed me. I got started, and I've learned a lot from the mentors here. Whether it's Sean wasn't much there, but there was Pete. I learned a lot. Like wow, I was like, wow, I didn't know this game existed, and it was a game that I really like. And along the
Mhm.
way, I kept on reading, and increasingly, of course, everybody, invariably you'll go to the best investor in the world, which is Buffett. But actually, for me, right, personally, between Buffett and Munger, I find
Mm,
Munger the more superior between the both. But
mm,
unfortunately, right, I can't understand Munger. like, I really don't understand Charlie Munger. But thankfully, there's this Indian guy who really loves him and talks a lot. And I
yeah.
learned tremendously from the gentleman called Monish Pabrai. And
Mm,
I I read his book, I watched his YouTube, I devoured everything on him. So it
wow.
shaped my mindset, and increasingly I find that I realized that what you do in life affects what you do in investing, and the success is really together with each other. And I've,
Mm,
I've 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 learned to apply, not to make mistakes in life, and applying long-term thinking, and that really solves a lot of problems, that gave me a lot of perspective to solve problems that I have.
It's always about constantly learning and improving. And then one of the person that you learn a lot, even though you have not met him personally, but then through reading. So like what kind of habits do you think that you have that have helped you to become a great investor or better investor within a short period of time? Like how much do you read every day, or what kind of habits do you have?
Oh, well, okay, first and foremost, I don't think I'm a great investor, because I learned this from Tom Gaynor, which is from Markel, right? I think his mentor said that success in this game is 30 years later you realize you're still in the game. So I'm only 2 years
Mm,
in the game. So I wouldn't say I'm great. I would say I'm a trying to improve investor.
mm,
I realized that the greatest habit, the greatest minds in this world, they all of them read a lot. They just read a lot. And if you think about reading, like Charlie Munger always says, you're basically hanging out with the eminence, the people who's already dead. They write on their biographies. You go and learn from them. And I've learned so much. Like yeah, there were certain ideas that I thought was like great, but I realized what's the point, that kind of stuff. Uh, I read a lot. When I start the day, I read. Before I sleep, I read. My wife sometimes complains I read too much. I read until now I need to wear glasses. I've realized that all these habits become a discipline, and maybe it's the discipline is the one that eventually creates your success lah.
yeah, it's about the discipline. And then I
Mm.
think it's always also about cultivating the identity that you are a long-term investor, I'm a long-term investor, I'm a reader, that makes you to really have more, I think, like much faster progress, right? What do you think? It's that the sense of identity.
Yeah, it's this guy's got so many. It's like Buffett will tell you his mistake, Munger will tell you his mistake, Pabrai will tell you his mistakes, and
Yeah.
you can't help but get better lor. I mean, you think, and then you learn. Yeah. Like for example, when I exercise, when I jog, I listen to YouTube. I just listen to them, whoever
Mm,
is talking. Whether it's
Constantly surround
Pabrai,
yourself. Yeah,
Lilu, Munger. I can't listen to Munger. I don't understand him. So
yeah.
Lilu, Howard Marks, yeah, all
Mm,
the. I mean, you just put top
very
investors. I'm
brilliant.
sure the results comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just now there was an audience asking about the investor that Hadi is constantly learning from, right? It's Manish Babrai. You can Google him. You can watch his YouTube as well, where you can learn his wisdom. All right. So constantly surround. So you can see that Hadi constantly surround himself, even during his free time while he's jogging. He's also keep on learning all the time, feeding his mind with wisdom with from investors who are very successful, who are better than him, and so that he can also continue to improve, right? Yeah. So for yourself, right, uh let's talk about this year, right? Because we know that this year the volatility has been really great. Now it's like officially entering the bear market. Has your approach shifted, since 2020 to now? What kind of strategies are you currently using in this context, in this market condition?
I mean, the concept doesn't change. It's all about good business. You cannot overpay, so you got to find a good price, and then hopefully you have cash flow to keep on buying. That's a strategy, the system or framework as you call it. If you're talking about volatility, right? In fact, I would argue, right, without volatility, you're not gonna make a lot of money in the market because everything
Mm,
will be priced to perfection. In fact,
mm,
with volatility, that gives you the chance to earn more in the market.
mm,
It's like when especially when the market is a very auction driven market. It oscillates between maximum optimism and maximum pessimism. Okay, right
mm.
now we're probably, like, if I hear Pete, maybe we're close to maximum pessimism. Not max yet, but very close already.
Yep.
And in terms of maximum pessimism, is the kind of time where Buffett always say you're basically trying to shoot a fish in a gun barrel. So you cannot miss. What he's trying to say is the fish
Yeah.
is in the barrel, freaking shoot it and you're gonna hit it. So volatility is part and parcel of the game. Drawdowns is part and parcel of the game. And your greatest success is only during when it's periods of volatile
Yeah.
that you really get the greatest returns. And if if
That's
if you are if you're scared of volatility, well, you 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 need to get on a habit of embracing it. For those who's really embrace it, and we should the best of it. It's really the best of times now.
Yeah, exactly. And just like what Hadi said, right? If you invest and continue to invest, and in fact, if you can use more to invest during a volatile time, that's where when the market recovers, your portfolio is going to have tremendous and much accelerated return, because millionaires are created especially during crisis. And in fact, Hadi, he turned his 200K portfolio into $1 million, also because he sees the opportunities given by COVID during the crash in 2020, right? So for yourself, right? Like maybe you can share with us a little bit more about because your portfolio accelerated a lot during the COVID crisis, right? Um, what what have you been doing since then, or even in this current market condition right now? Are you adding more? Like are you still using strategy, buy call, long call, strategy X, even during this volatile period of time?
Um, well, actually, typically during every falls, right? Of course, my portfolio will go red. Every time it goes red, um, I tend to kind of withdraw myself from the market, and I tend to even read even more.
Mm,
And increasingly, I've realized that great businesses is really not a lot. Actually, in
mm,
this world, there's so many great businesses, and we're talking about the businesses that's built to last is not a lot. So for me, I just look around, just trying to really reverse engineer, like why Buffett buy this, why Munger buy this, and what was really the thought process. And
mm,
I'm just in the hunt of great businesses. I just want to invest in them. So especially for the great businesses, I like to buy their stocks, and I like to just wait, because at the end of the day, it's you don't know when it's gonna go up optimistic, so you don't know
Yeah.
how long it takes. You buy and then just wait, eventually,
Yeah.
if it's still earning, it's still growing, it's the stock is just gonna go up. So I'm buying stocks on really great businesses, and
Hmm.
especially when I realize it's a great business, and when the chance arise, right, for you to really earn, you have to be convicted. You cannot just put like 2%. 2%
Yeah.
times 2 is only 4%.
Yeah.
So you gotta be convicted, and you gotta be willing to, ideally, what they call swing for the fences. Yeah, you got to be willing to put your cash down. When it goes
Yeah.
up, then it goes up. Okay.
That's
um
true.
yeah, and of course, increasing, I also realize, Chloe, you've shared your Sean shares it as barakupa. You share it as it's a Japanese word,
Yeah.
kushi.
Yeah. Urikashi.
uh Kurikashi. uh I'm so convinced on that method. I actually devoted like close to 30-40% of my portfolio on that method. And I'm quite
Mm.
convinced that with time, there's no way but up for that. So but for those of you, you better do your own conviction. For me, generally, once I'm convicted, I swing for the fences. I don't hold cash.
Yeah. In fact, I think that's also the way that Buffett invests as well, right? Like Munger that's also invest this way. Like once they see this as an opportunity and the price drop to a very decent level, they really go big, okay? Because that's how they can really make substantial return, right? Like just like what Hadi said, if it's just a 2% of your portfolio, if you make 100%, that's like just another, that's only make out another 4%, right? Which doesn't give you that kind of substantial return that you're looking at. So talking about portfolio sizing, right? Like JV is also asking, right? How many stocks do you currently have in your portfolio, right? Do you diversify into different sectors?
Okay. You probably heard this, right? Concentration drives wealth, and diversification maintains wealth. And in the words of Charlie Munger, actually, you don't need more than 4 to diversify your portfolio. But having said this, I think you gotta make sure that you're kind of trained, and make sure you have some kind of experience. For me, honestly, I've been on a journey to try to have lesser stocks in my portfolio, because I
Mm,
really realized that great businesses, there's not many great
mm,
businesses with considerable moat, good management, ability to reinvest their free cash flow. Not a lot
mm,
in this world. I'm
mm,
I'm in a hunt for them, and so far I found here and there. Hopefully they grow lah. But the key thing
mm,
that I realized is a lot of people don't. I would say, I've interacted with quite a fair bit of investors. I realize people view their portfolio in too short a time. So
mm,
let's say I've already invested in Amazon, right? Which to
mm,
me is it's a apex company, right? Amazon for the past year didn't do much. You've got to understand, when the wind come, when everybody starts getting optimistic at Amazon, it may fly. So you really reduce a lot of risk by lengthening your timeline. If you're only looking
yeah.
at 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, God knows what will happen. But if you are able to lengthen, your risk gets substantially reduced. But you must know what you're doing. So once JV, I only have like 6 to 7 stocks. I'm
Mm,
probably gonna be sticking with, unless I find a real good one. I'm probably sticking with 6 to 7. And
mm,
second part, are they diversified? Well, if you buy Amazon, right, you're literally buying a conglomerate.
mm,
It's like they've got their advertising revenue is bigger than YouTube. They're literally the information highway of the internet. E-commerce, they're probably the world's largest. They're the biggest logistics company in the US. They're bigger than FedEx and UPS. They're only smaller than USPS, which is the US Sing Post. So
mm.
um, I would argue it's diversified. It's like kind of buying Berkshire. You probably have like
Mm.
what shares? I don't know how many stocks. Well, 100 stocks.
Okay,
So I would
50
say
stocks.
it's, yeah, a lot lah. I think Berkshire there's a lot. I don't know how many companies.
Private plus public lah. Public is about 50. Then private, they own a lot of businesses as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So I really, at the end of the day, um, well, I'm investing to give my girl. So like I view it across 40 years. So I have a lot of time to spare. So I'm not in a rush.
Wow. So guys, you can see that in terms of the investing horizon or the time frame that Hadi looking at, is not just 1 year, 2 years, not even 5 years, 10 years. It's in fact like 40 years, right? Like, guys, so that's why long-term thinking is so, it gives you that peace of mind. And especially because you are long-term thinking, you are more selective in the kind of businesses that you will invest, because you know that, hey, the moment I make this decision, I really want it to make sure that this has the mold that can last, not just in 5 years, 10 years, but in decades to come, right? So can everybody type long term in the chat? So talking about, investing as a skill set, right? What kind of, once you have this ability to invest for yourself, right, and compound your wealth, uh, what what can it give you? Like, what has it given you so far? Yeah, why is this skill set so important to you?
I realized, right? I've never had the knowledge to grow my capital until 2020. All along, I thought that to grow rich is really your own time. But if you think about it, right, actually, the only thing that every human being out there don't have is called time.
Mm.
Like it's like I told you, the typical Asian male in Singapore dies at the age of your lifespan is 83. So I'm 49. I'm alive with 43 years. Every day is ticking on. Tick, 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 tick. So actually, the one thing that everybody wants, it's not money, it's time. Actually, when you get more money, you're able to outsource. That's when you get time. So to me, this
Mm.
is a game where the reward is time. It's really time. And COVID has really changed my mindset. I realized that you only want to spend time with people that you want to spend time with. So I think the reward of this game is really time. And to really answer that is understanding investing has given me a realization that if I win in this game, I get time. And do I want
Mm.
time? Hell yeah, I want time. I want to buy more time, Chloe. I want to snowboard every year. I want to travel every few months, and along the way you got to work this brain out. So yeah, you constantly improve yourself, and hopefully you get time at the end of the day. Yeah.
Mm. And I think, like, what Hadi say, right? It's about that time, right? And I think since talking about time, people are also very curious, like, if you are a full-time investor, right? Like, do you devote every single of your time doing investing, right? Or how much time do you actually spend on your own investment research, right? Since in research, this process is so important.
Okay. I'm not a full time. In fact, I'm very part time, and I don't spend much time in the market. Okay, I'm actually very lazy. Okay, I'm not full time. I realized that the moment you put full time in this venture, emotions will drive you.
Mm.
So I realized that I don't want to be full time. In fact, I have no intention to be full time. I want in life you're probably going to be gifted in something. You're going to be productive. So when you're
Mm.
productive and you spend lesser than what you earn, you'll have excess cash flow. I'm always trying to find excess cash flow to pump in back into the market. Yeah. So
Mm.
yeah, for the first 6 months, I was quite thankful. That was the height of COVID, lah. I mean, Timothy, I had so much time. I was just reading and watching YouTube of the guys that is proven. I realized there's so much noise in the market. They tell you this thing, but like in school, you only want to copy the A student, right? In
Mm.
investing, the logic is the same. You copy the A investors, and you cannot go wrong. And after seeing all the A investors, I realized all of them follows Warren Buffett. And
Mm.
then that no need to. I realized why X so smart. A lot of people like to X smart. They think that they can find a loophole in the market or come up with their own strategy. This is Buffett and Munger, right? Who's been around for 80 plus years. They've showcased that this is the way to get results. And
Mm.
who am I to say that their method is not optimal? So for me, I'm just damn shameless. I left my ego at the door. I don't want to copy everything they do. So for the I just read. In fact, my favorite book is Charlie Munger's book actually. So yeah, I just read and read and watch YouTube. And hopefully, if you guys do the same, I really hope that you get the same insights that I did. For a start, let's go to YouTube, Monish Babrai. He probably have like 50 videos. You devour everything, I'm sure your knowledge also level up.
I see. Wow. Apart from Monish Paprai's YouTube channel, right? I think some people are also very curious about like what kind of books do you actually recommend for beginner investors as well?
Oh, I don't know if it's
Just
for
now
beginner
you mentioned
investor.
about Charlie Munger's book, the one that you talk about, the one like your favorite book as
Oh
well.
yeah,
What is that?
strangely, Buffett has never written a book. But if you follow manga, right, and that's probably one of my favorite books. Is It's actually Poor Charlie's Almanac. It's a book
Ah,
based on his I think it was 2006 USC commencement speech. Um, it's basically his wit and wisdom throughout the years. And you've got to understand, Buffett calls manga the best 30-second mind in the world. So he has a
mm,
lot of things that you can learn from. And he loves collecting mental models, which is he figures what will fail and he doesn't want to go there. So I like shouldn't go to like I like Poor Charlie's Almanac, Monish Babrai as a Dando investor. I definitely Berkshire's investment letters. They'll teach you how to be a better human being, and if you become a better human being, invariably you
eventually
will
you also
succeed.
become a better investor. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I like Richer, Wiser, Happier. I think it's something I think is
Wonderful.
such an easy read, and I like I would say the other one that really changed my perspective of investing is there's these two guys out of England. Monish Babrai calls them also a very brilliant guy, Nick Sleep and Keith Zakaria. They ran the Nomad Investment Partners. There was the Nomad Investment Partners letters. You could Google it
Mm-hmm.
online. It's available. Well, it's beautiful. It showcased their whole entire evolution, and that's when I realized that actually in investing, the lesser you do, the better. All you need to do
Mm,
is you need to figure out what are the really great companies with long shelf life,
mm.
and very hard lah. It's very hard not to succeed. It's very hard not to succeed in this game. Yeah,
Wow,
five books.
and you can
Did I say too
buy
fast?
books, right? And in fact, some of the books are like annual shareholder letters that actually continue, right? It doesn't just end there. And you can see that Hadi really devote a lot of time reading. And if you're asking how much time, like I don't think there's a quantity in terms of like you count, oh, I spend 2 hours a day. It's more about the cultivation of the habits that you continue to read, continue to improve and learn whenever you have time and whenever you actually have that free pockets of time, right? That Hadi is already also learning all the time, and
I
that's
would I
how
would
he.
say yeah. I think Raj put it there. I think if you want a book, easy book to read, Richer, Wiser, Happier. Yeah. Poor
Mm.
Charlie's Almanac is very dry. It's very dry.
Witty.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
very
sometimes
witty.
manga's wisdom is it's not something very easy to grasp in like immediately. Yeah, but it's definitely something that is worth devouring time on. All right, so richer, wiser, happier. Wow, thanks Raj for typing it out for me as well. Okay, so in the meantime, like if we go back to the topic of time, right? If you can turn back time, maybe just 10 years ago, what would you tell yourself to do and not to do?
I guess I should have married earlier. That I can compound earlier. Uh I would say lesser partying. I spend so much money, on alcohol and ah
Oh wow! Hey,
with
same answer as Pete. Like when I asked him about this question, he said, "Oh, I wish that I spend less time on going drinking and all
oh
this,
yeah.
and spend time leveling up the skill set more." Yeah, that's what he said. Oh, very very similar in terms of thinking.
Yeah, maybe well, maybe if I met my wife earlier, she would have bought it earlier. Then I can compound earlier. You know?
Uh huh.
But it's my goal to pass this knowledge to my little girl,
Mm.
and it's really, it's really uh, it's really difficult to die poor. as hard as I can say is very difficult. If you really understand the basic maths of compounding, you will really understand it's very difficult to die poor. All you need is to start slow and steady, compound. Yeah, you will invariably, get rich. For example, Chloe, I want to ask you, do you know how many founders of Berkshire there are? Do you know the founding partner of Berkshire? Do you know how many are there?
No.
It's not only Charlie and it's not only Munger and Buffett, no. There's a third guy. The third guy is
I
called
don't
Rick
know.
Guerin. There's a third guy.
Okay.
Okay? Rick Guerin is as smart as them. There's a reason why you're not hearing Rick Guerin right now. Rick just passed away. I think last year or maybe this year or something.
Okay.
The reason why you don't hear Rick is Rick was as smart as Buffett and Munger himself. Okay, but the problem with Rick was that he knew how to win in the market, but he went on a lot of leverage. So this is the not to do piece. Okay, and because of he was very leveraged. In 1974, I think he had to sell the A shares to Buffett. That's why Buffett is way richer way wealthier than Munger's portion. Okay, he sold the A shares in 1973 for, if I'm not wrong, it's about $40.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
if I have any advice for anybody out there, right, it's actually this. At that time, Pabrai asked Buffett, why don't anybody talk about Rick? So this was Buffett's answer. Charlie and I always knew that we were going to be extremely wealthy, but we weren't in a hurry. Rick was in a hurry. Okay, so the answer to that is never ever get onto leverage. Just like any company, they only die with debt. Human beings, we die with debt. Never do that. This is Rick sold the $40 shares, which is, I don't know what's the latest, 400,000 maybe.
$400,000.
So yeah, this is the one. So this is tattooed in my head. Okay, there's no need to be in a hurry if you really understand compounding. And I feel like 40 years. I just slow and steady, you'll be better than 90% of society.
Wow. Okay. Can everybody type invest within our means? Okay. Means like you do not leverage, you only invest what you have, right? And it's also very important that you need to set aside, rainy day funds as well. You should only invest in the cash that you are not going to touch for the long term, right? And that's what Hadi mean, right? Like that's the reason why he can also invest with the long term horizon, because he know that he doesn't need that kind of cash in a short term, right? So invest within our means, very good, right? And in fact, Stephanie is asking, the Hadi join the mentoring program. In fact, yeah, Hadi joined, and in fact, right now, because you can see that within the past 2 years, he really learned and grow so much as an investor. Right now, we even invite him to be part of the mentorship team, right? Like he's one of our mentors, right? And if you are inside the mentorship, if you want to really learn more from Hadi, you can directly actually book the 1 hour coaching call with Hadi himself as well. Wow, really amazing. And okay, so before we end this, right, like maybe we can ask Hadi for 3 pieces of advice, right, that you can give to investors who are on this journey, how to improve better. Yeah.
3.
Or if you want to reduce into a more concise form, also can. Yeah.
I maybe we could find 3. I think the first key piece is I really learned this from Pabrai. People think in the market you need high risk, high reward. It's a myth. Okay, you got to destroy that myth. Okay, the key thing that you want is actually low risk, high reward, and it exists. It exists in the market. It's the only reason all this. I wouldn't say it's the only reason, but it's one of the key reasons why these guys can really make a lot of money. Low risk, high reward. A bird in hand is better than 2 in the bush. Always go for the low risk, high reward kind of asymmetric rewards that you can get. That will serve you very well because you cover your downside. Second, don't need to reinvent the wheel. Don't need to act too smart. Throw your ego out the door. Learn from the best and just copy the hell of them. And the best guys, you just type top investors of the world. If you really realize, actually the top investors, they're very generous with their time. You see so many videos of Pabrai, so many. Actually, if we can, I would love to meet him. I haven't had a chance. Hopefully, I can meet him next year at the Berkshire meeting. That's my goal. And yeah, just learn from the best and copy. It cannot go wrong. What's there to be wrong? And the third key piece is uh, you know, whether you like it or not, right? Um, to win in investing, I've realized it's in the waiting. It's not in the buying and selling. It's really in the waiting. Okay, a lot of people think that more action equals to more returns, and that's exactly why like I put it. I don't want to be a full time. Actually, the lesser time you spend, as long as you do your homework, you do your hard work, you will get a low risk, high return, asymmetric reward kind of opportunity. And of course, when that opportunity comes, you gotta have bullets to fire. And if you're
Exactly.
able to, if you're able to do that, you'll get the returns that you deserve.
Yeah. It's just like what I think what Hadi mean by low risk, high reward is like understanding the company, studying it, researching it, and really knowing what is the good price to buy. And when the market gives you the price, that's when you need to really start firing. Is that what you mean?
Yes, it's like now,
Yeah.
Actually, it's like now. Now is like there's so much money in the market. Of course, all this interest and everything. Actually, at the end of the day, right, it really doesn't matter. You know,
Mm.
Ukraine can be, having war with Russia. Look at my friends are holidaying around the world. Actually, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, human beings, we've got habits, we've got characters. We just still gotta continue our habits. So good companies are there to stay, and hopefully you buy good companies over the long run. You cannot help but be extremely wealthy, assuming it's a good
Yeah.
business.
Exactly, right? So if people say this, like a Facebook user say, don't know where to start, scared to lose money, um, what's your advice for that?
You gotta find a steady hand. Okay, when you find a steady hand, you gotta find whoever is already success. It's the same. It's the same in in your schooling days. You only want to copy the A student, right? Like you scare you'll fail the paper. When you want to copy, you'll copy the A student lah. So you gotta find the guys who've already succeeded, because then there's a framework to succeed, ma. But there's so
Mm,
many, like there's so many. Wow, this guy say this strategy, that guy say that strategy. I've realized, and that's the reason why long term. If you take a look at Forbes, right? Very simple, very simple. Take a look at Forbes,
mm,
You take a look at the top 10 richest. I guarantee you, they've had their company for like 30 years. So this guys wasn't there since the first day, not the second year, not the third year. It's across. Like if you talk about Amazon, it's like 25 to 30 years. If you talk about Tesla, he started in '06 maybe. So it's been about
mm.
15 years. So you gotta give time. You gotta give time. It's the same like habits, it's the same like knowledge, it's the same like your relationship. Everything is compounded through time.
That's true. Wow, and that's what. In fact, this is one of Munger's wisdom as well. It's always about the compounding, and you need to give time and you need to give that patience, right? And if Caroline is asking, oh, any replay for tonight? Oh yeah, in fact, it is. Like actually, right now we are streaming right now, and later on the recording will also be available inside my YouTube channel as well. So make sure go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my Telegram as well, so that you can be up to date of future investment insights apart from tonight's replay, because I will also intend to interview more amazing investors. I actually intend to actually compound all this wisdom into a book, so that using one single source you can actually tap into insights of so many amazing investors, including Hadi's as well. So in the meantime, all right, Hadi, if anybody want to follow you, how can they continue to learn from you? Or yeah, but actually, Hadi is a very private person.
I don't have Chloe. So whoever's in the community, I just try to share, when being called to share. I'm in the process of learning lah. Just around, better people, and just learn off. Find,
Yeah.
Chloe, whoever I can learn from, just learn. Everybody would have their own strengths, everybody would have their own weakness. Just cover your blind spots. You'll do quite well.
Yeah, once again, it's about long term, right? And invest in something that you have high conviction in and do your research and then let the time do the magic as well. All
Yeah.
right. So thank you so much, Hadi, for spending your precious 1 hour together with all of us. And also thank you everybody for staying tuned all the way until now to learn from Hadi. And if you have learned a lot, maybe you can type down what is the most useful insights for you, all right, so that you can condense your own knowledge, type it in the answer so that you can Hadi can also get to see what do you take away the most from his sharing. All right, these thanks heaps for this sharing. All right, thanks Hadi, all the best going forward as well. All right, wow, so many people, like a person saying a very valuable sharing. Time, okay, this person said time is the most important thing. You need time for your investment, for everything to compound, is more important than money. Wow. Thank you so much, Hadi, and thank you everybody. And remember to continue to stay invested. And most importantly, like just what Hadi said, right now is the best opportunity for you to seize. Make sure you really start investing. And of course, before you do that, make sure you do your own research, right? And that's how you have the conviction to buy more. And then let the time to work and be patient and wait for your wealth to compound as well. All right, with that, thank you everybody. All right, we will see you guys in the next sharing, and thank you Hadi once again for the wonderful insights, and we can't wait to see you in our next sharing as well.
Thanks, Chloe. Thanks for inviting. Such a pleasure. Such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, you guys have a great evening. All right, thank you. See you guys.